Imagine a time of great challenges, where people's faith is tested at every turn. Now, envision a man emerging from obscurity, ready to alter the course of history with his bravery and supernatural signs. This man is Elijah, the Tishbite, whose story is not just a lesson in faith, but a true spectacle of power and miracles. Join us on this incredible journey as we explore how one man stood up to kings and defied the heavens, proving that true power comes from steadfastly following what one believes in. Prepare to have your notions of possibility completely transformed. Elijah was not just a prophet, he was the herald of an era of fire and wonders, and his story might just change the way you see the world. Don't miss this epic adventure that shows how unwavering faith can literally move mountains and call down fire from the sky. Elijah, the Tishbite from Gilead, emerged during a tumultuous time for Israel, marked by deep spiritual troubles. He stood out not only for his courageous actions, but also for the mystery surrounding his origins, making him a compelling and powerful figure in biblical history. Elijah's mission was not just to speak the words of God, but to awaken the people of Israel from a significant spiritual lapse, showing everyone the need to return to God. When Elijah confronted King Ahab, he announced a long drought that symbolized how far the people had strayed from God. He not only challenged the king, but also demonstrated the need for change, to return to true faith. Elijah was more than a messenger. He was a true reformer, deeply committed to God and possessing immense courage to face any challenge. Picture Elijah, coming from Gilead, a man of firm faith, facing not only the lack of rain but also the lack of faith of his people. He lived simply, always ready to fight for truth and divine justice. At that time, Elijah's courage was rare, especially when he had to confront not just physical challenges, but the spiritual issues that affected everyone around him. Now, Elijah was preparing for a significant challenge on Mount Carmel, which would be more than a battle of faith. He was ready to confront the idolatry that dominated his people. Each step he took towards this great encounter was a step to try to bring Israel back to God. This moment would be crucial, not just for Elijah, but for all the people, as it would demonstrate the strength and dedication of a true prophet of God. Elijah, the prophet, was known not only for his strong words, but for his incredible physical endurance. Imagine the scene. He challenges King Ahab and then runs faster than the king's chariot, covering a great distance to Jezreel. This shows not only his strength, but how he trusted God to sustain him at every step. Elijah led a life full of challenges, but each was accompanied by a divine intervention that showcased God's power to all those around. When the drought took over the land, God guided Elijah to the brook Cherith, where ravens sent by God fed him daily. Can you imagine? Ravens bringing food every day. And when the brook dried up, God had another plan for him. Elijah went to Zarephath, where a widow and her son took him in. There he was able to multiply the widow's food, showing once again that, with faith, the impossible becomes possible. But Elijah's power didn't stop there. When the widow's son became gravely ill, Elijah did not hesitate. He cried out to God and, with his fervent prayers, brought the boy back to life. This miracle was not just a demonstration of God's power, but also a sign that Elijah was a true servant of God, always ready to help and show compassion. Each of these miracles teaches us something important today. For example, if you are going through a tough time, remember Elijah and the widow of Zarephath. Just as provision came for them, it can come for you. Keep the faith and continue to ask God, for He hears fervent prayers and can transform desperate situations into stories of hope and renewal. The showdown on Mount Carmel was one of the most dramatic moments in Elijah's life. Imagine all the tension, a long drought afflicting the land, and Elijah rising to challenge the prophets of Baal in a definitive display of faith and power. He instructed the people and the prophets to prepare 2 altars, one for Baal and another for the Lord. The true test was which God would send fire from heaven to consume the sacrifice. The prophets of Baal called out, but nothing happened. Then it was Elijah's turn. With impressive calm, Elijah rebuilt the Lord's altar with 12 stones, symbolizing the 12 tribes of Israel. He even had water poured over the altar 3 times, heightening the challenge. When Elijah prayed, fire from God descended from the heavens, consuming the sacrifice, the water, and even the stones. This miracle left no doubt among those present about who the true God was. The people's reaction was immediate, acknowledging God's sovereignty with renewed faith exclamations. This event teaches us about the importance of maintaining faith, even when circumstances seem impossible. Like Elijah, you may face challenges in your life where it seems like you are putting everything on the line. But remember, it is in these moments that true faith can shine. Small acts of faith, like rebuilding a symbolic altar in your life, can set the stage for great miracles. Moreover, Elijah showed that true leadership comes from faithfully following God and acting according to His will, even when it seems counterintuitive. Imagine applying this in your life, perhaps rebuilding broken relationships or renewing old commitments you had set aside. These are modern ways of rebuilding the altar, of showing faith and allowing God to work in your life. After the impressive event on Mount Carmel, Elijah announced that the long drought was about to end. He climbed to the top of Mount Carmel, knelt down, and began to pray fervently. Elijah knew that rain was essential, not just for the land, but as a symbol of spiritual renewal for the people of Israel. He instructed his servant to look toward the sky several times. On the seventh time, a small cloud appeared. It was a modest sign, but full of meaning, which soon transformed into a great rain, bringing relief and hope to the entire nation. This moment of persistent prayer from Elijah teaches much about patience and persistence. In life, often, the answers to our prayers are not immediate. Like Elijah, we may need perseverance and faith to continue believing, even when the results are not visible right away. Think of it as waiting for the rain. You know it will come, even if everything around you seems dry and lifeless. Moreover, the story shows how small signs can precede great changes. The small cloud in the sky was just the beginning, but it was enough to strengthen Elijah's faith and that of everyone waiting for the rain. In your own life, small progress or changes can be indicative of major transformations that are to come. Value these moments and see them as promises that better things are on the horizon. Finally, the end of the drought is a powerful reminder that after difficult periods, renewal always comes. Just as the rain revitalized the land and brought new life, challenging times in our lives can pave the way for new beginnings and growth. This can be a comfort during tough times, knowing that the rain will eventually come and bring with it a new season of growth and abundance. Elijah's earthly journey culminated with one of the most spectacular events described in the Bible, his ascension to heaven in a whirlwind accompanied by a chariot of fire. Before this extraordinary moment, Elijah and his successor Elisha crossed the Jordan River, which parted as Elijah touched its waters with his cloak. This final act was a powerful demonstration of Elijah's authority and his closeness to God. Elisha, witnessing everything, asked for a double portion of Elijah's spirit, a request that shows his desire to continue and expand the work started by his mentor. Elijah's ascension is not just an end, but also a sign of continuity. He passed his cloak to Elisha, who then returned across the Jordan, now carrying the authority and spirit of his master. This moment was crucial as it showed that Elijah's ministry would continue through Elisha, reinforcing the notion that true leadership and spiritual legacy do not end with the departure of a charismatic figure, but live on in the actions and spirit of those who continue their path. Additionally, Elijah's ascension is a powerful image of hope and spiritual renewal. Just like Elijah was lifted to heaven, we all seek to ascend in our own spiritual paths. Think about how you can ascend in your personal life, overcoming challenges and rising above the day-to-day difficulties. Perhaps this means taking on new responsibilities, seeking a deeper understanding of your faith, or simply helping others find their way. Finally, this episode encourages everyone to think about the legacy they wish to leave. Just as Elijah prepared Elisha to continue his mission, each of us has the opportunity to influence and inspire others. It might be through mentorship, sharing knowledge, or simply living in a way that reflects our deepest values. What do you want people to remember about you? How can you prepare others to continue your work and beliefs? After delving into Elijah's extraordinary life, it's clear that his journey was more than miracles and confrontations. It was a demonstration of unbreakable faith and commitment to the truth. Now, reflect. How can you apply Elijah's lessons in your own life? Are you ready to face your challenges with the same confidence and courage that Elijah showed? And more importantly, how can you inspire changes in your community or circle of influence, following the example of this great prophet? I invite you to share your reflections in the comments below and discuss how Elijah's story inspires you to act. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to not miss our future explorations of the most inspiring figures and their transformative teachings. Join us on this journey of discovery and spiritual renewal, and who knows, you might also find your own path to performing miracles in your life.